Well, hello. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you all have had a great day today. Um, but wait a minute. Is your life balanced? Yeah, balanced. What do I mean by that? Well, almost everyone seeks balance in our lives. And yes, basically everyone's life has been upended and is out of balance right now because of our health and the health of people around us, and of course the coronavirus, which we didn't really know anything about when it first came into the country in November of last year. We just didn't realize it, but that's when it supposedly hit the shores of the United States in the New York area. And there were, I think it was about 60 some places in the country that it actually came into that we had no clue that it was even here. So yeah, it kind of snuck up behind us. Whacked us real good with a virus and put us down in bed sick and some in hospitals. There were, we just had no idea what was going on when it came onto our shores. We didn't really know what hit us until March. And we really didn't know then because we knew it was a virus, but we weren't sure how bad it was. But it got worse and worse and worse. And but now things seem to be letting up in, let's say, New York and the northern states and some parts of the East Coast. We jumped the gauntlet and let our minds run wild. But, we didn't know. We didn't know what was going on. But the first thing we need to do when something knocks our feet right out from underneath us, we just need to stop everything. Because when you let your mind run wild, you could just drive yourself crazy. You could drive yourself bonkers. We still don't have all the answers that we need. We still do not have a serum or a vaccine that's going to shut this down. At least not that we've been told at this point. Situations like this are always out of our personal control. And when one or more of our basic needs goes unfulfilled, we really become unbalanced and stressed. And it makes us do weird things that we normally might not do. Any basic need that's out of whack long enough, it can really knock your whole life out of whack. But hopefully, most of our lives are better now than it has been since March. And, we can look back now and say, well, we feel better. But still some of our problems, and major problems, are still not taken care of. Some of us are still fortunate enough to have jobs to be able to work, and that is a blessing in disguise. There are even some companies who have decided to hire people and train them until they can get back into their stores. And there are some good companies like that, not a lot, but there are some good ones. Somebody told me that Royal Canin was doing that. They're a pet food company, and I believe that they make their own scientifically based dog food. So that's a good thing to know. And I've heard that they were notified like 3 years in a row that they were one of the best companies to work for. So that's a good thing to know. But we're still in this. A lot of people are still sick. We still don't know much about it, except that we keep getting a lot of conflicting information from the president's office. And I honestly have not been able to tell if anything that's coming out of the White House is true or not. And that's a sad state of affairs for our entire country to be in, because we don't know. But that will change. That will change because we're going to change it in November. So, that, like I said, that's going to change. But in order for us to change things in a more positive vein, we need to be fully present in the moment. We need to practice self-centering skills. If you've got people who are not preoccupied with the past or the future, then you need to train your body and your mind to remain focused. And that's pretty much what we have to do right now. We have to remain focused on the things that we can do that can make our lives a little better every day. Now, whether that's as simple as taking a warm bath, taking a cool shower, have your favorite tea or coffee afterwards. If you're not working, you can take the time to treat yourselves kindly. And we all need to do that, especially now. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, who's going to? Especially single people. Especially the elderly. Now, yes, if you have someone that's older in your family that isn't very well to start off with, you want to try and see how much better you can make their lives on a regular basis. Not that they're going to die tomorrow. Not everybody is going to die from this virus. They're not. We've had over 100,000 people get the virus. Not 100,000. I think that's about right. And maybe 60,000 others who just didn't make it. They got the virus and then they died. But like I say, not everybody dies. It's hard to, if you've got a relative that's really sickly. I know that. But we need to practice our self-centering skills. Because if we're going to help somebody else, we need to be able to focus. We really do. Sometimes, because of all the stress that we're under, it drains our energy and our resources. Now, I know that there are families out there who have reached the end of their financial ropes and really need a lot of help getting by until they can either get a job I mean, I know that jobs are opening up right now, but I would urge everyone to still be careful, and even if you get a job, wear a mask to the job, wear a mask to lunch, and still be focused on keeping yourself well. Because some states who have let their people go out and do more things than they should have done have come back with the coronavirus. There were 3 young women I saw online today who had gone somewhere out in the crowds, and because they were out with crowds and they were not taking care and paying attention, they got too close to somebody that had the virus, and they've come home with them. So we're not out of the woods yet. We still have to take care of ourselves and the people that we are closest to. This is not going to go away in 3 months. It isn't, because it's spread too far. Now Texas is going bonkers with cases. You know how big Texas is? Well, they've got a lot of people in Texas who are getting it now, and they hadn't been before. So their resources are going to be drained. This is something that's, I'm going to make a prediction. Because the information about the coronavirus 19 is not complete yet. Personally, I think we need to keep our nose to the ground, keep protecting ourselves until after next January. And I say that because the people who have gone out and who have caught the virus where they've been safe all this time, it's because not that they went out too soon, but they went to the wrong place. And they went to places where there were hundreds of people. We can't do that yet. As we've seen, that's not the thing to do. We're still going to have to be careful for the next 6 months. I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but we have to be logical. We have to look at where the virus is throughout the country. You can look online, look at a map, and it'll show you the hot spots. So don't go to those hot spots. If you know 10 people that you feel secure with, and you check with each other, you checked with them last week, you checked with them the week before, have they been anywhere unusual or done anything where they were around too many people? We're going to have to keep doing that. Because if we don't, this coronavirus is going to get worse. We need to keep our energy and our resources up. There's no other way to say it. We need to practice self-centering skills. We need to be fully present in the moments. We've been relatively good going into the grocery stores because the managers prioritized their values. They have tried to eliminate distractions in the stores, and they've tried to balance out what the workers are doing every day and how they're doing it. If you notice, most stores we go into right now, there are shields up at the cashier's um, stations. Almost everybody wears a mask. We're just going to have to do it for the next 6 months. I don't care if it upsets people. You have to do it. Don't let other people who are too demanding of your time and too demanding of you, get your goat. Just don't let them do it. You can always turn around and say, hey, I heard you the first time. Let me alone. I'm an adult. And you just might have to do that with some people. You've got to stand up for your personal rights and the way you let people treat you. You've got to check your priorities. If you have to, do it daily. What do you have to get done? Get organized if you haven't been. If you've just let everything go and you're like, woo, crazy, stop it. Get a pen and paper or go onto your iPad or your computer. Write down the things that you absolutely have to get done this week. Then go out further. What do you have to accomplish the next week? See what you can do about setting up a whole month of time, 4 weeks. The things that you've been meaning to do, the things that you must do, the things that you really want to do. You've got to prioritize now. Because like I said, may be able to go back to work in a month or two, I don't know. Nobody knows the answer to that right now. If you can work from home, God bless you. But still take your time to do the things that'll keep you sane. This is absolutely unprecedented, what we're going through right now. And, we've got to be fully present in the moment. We've got to learn self-centering skills. We've got to learn self-protection, self-control, and we've got to prioritize our values and eliminate distractions if we can, if we possibly can. And meantime, one of the things that I want you to do, and I want you to promise me to do that, okay? Actually promise me. Almost everybody has pets. Take extra time with your pets. Give them a bath. Give them a nice brushing. Let them on your lap more. Because we need that closeness. Because nothing is as loving and unconditionally loving as a pet. They know, believe it or not, they know, your pets know that you're special. They know your breathing routine. They can hear your heart much better than you can. And they know how you're feeling. So don't take your pets for granted. And I don't care whether you've got dogs, cats, donkeys, I don't care what you've got. You might keep horses for all I know. You might keep a certain type of Siamese cat, or maybe a German Shepherd dog, or a canine Corso. These kind of pets are wonderful. All pets are wonderful. But it depends on how you treat them. So, and look, I know everybody's been out of sorts. You can't help but worry about um, the coronavirus and people you know, people you love. So take your extra time with your pets. Groom them if they have to. If you think they might need to go to the vet, call the vet. Ask some questions. Take them to the vet. Now is the perfect time to do that kind of thing. You know, a lot of people will. You know, you go to visit somebody and their cat weighs maybe 10 or 20 pounds more than it should. Well, that kitty should be on a specific diet if you want the kitty to live a long time, and the dogs too. You know, if you can't feel their ribs, now I'm not talking about the ribs are indented. I'm not talking about that. But if when you go to feel them and you bring your hands from the ribs back towards the back legs, there should be some kind of indentation between the ribs and the back legs. It shouldn't be all filled out. So take an extra look at your pets. Make sure that they're feeling okay. Take the time to do what you can for them. And of course, the same thing goes for your families. I'm talking about your children, your grandchildren, other younger members of your family. They don't understand what the adults are going through. They just don't, because they can't. They don't have the maturity for that. So, if you have children at home, pay extra attention to them. I don't care if you both sit down and color, or if you watercolor, or teach them to draw, or teach them an instrument. If you're home and you're with your children and you can do that, that's what you should be doing. Now, I know this is a little late to tell you that, but, you know, I figured that by now you all should be doing that anyhow. But you've got your grandkids. I mean, I know if you're able to see your grandkids, that's a great thing on a regular basis. Because they are what brings us joy a lot of times. So enjoy that joy with them when they're with you, when you're with them. And I don't care whether it's a niece or a nephew or, you know, your sister's children or your brother's children. Nobody enjoys life like a child, because we've lost that. In order to make the rest of the year more pleasant, think about some of the things that you did when you were a child that were fun. Maybe you played board games, or you learned how to play cards, or you learned how to play Uno or poker or jacks or something like that. Don't forget about those little things that made you happy when you were younger. They can make you happy again. Maybe not quite the same way, because you're older and, you know, you're just older. But take your pleasures where you can find them. I don't care if it's reading a fiction book, a fantasy book, science fiction, romances, or a funny book. That's my thing for you this month, the rest of the month. Find as many funny books as you can and read them all. Go on Amazon. Find a comedic book, or read a book by a comedian. You know, we've all got to search out little things like that to do. And you know what? I'm going to do the same, and I will tell you I'll try to get a book by next week, and maybe next weekend I'll be able to have read it and see what I can tell you about. But we can do that kind of stuff because we've got the time. When we prioritize our values and eliminate distractions and don't let things drain you, don't let resources be drained too much. Be fully present in the moment. These things are what's going to keep us going for the next year. Maybe you've got a friend who you think is hilariously funny. Call them up. Get them to write you a funny note, or you write them a funny note. Be careful now, because not everybody thinks everything is funny that we all think is. So make sure it's, not too bad. But think about doing something like that, because God knows, we all need a little distraction sometimes. We've got things that we hadn't thought about doing. So that's my challenge to you for this week, is to find a funny book. And next time when you come on, mention the funny book down the bottom. Tell me what it is. Meanwhile, I am so very happy that you all are here. I want to say hello to Deborah. Hi there. And I always have about 20 some other people that are on the line here overside. So, I'm glad everybody's here. I've enjoyed my time with you this evening, and I hope you have as well. Enjoyed what I've said. I would like for you to take it to heart, and at some point let me know that you've taken it to heart. Sometime in, I think it's going to be July, I'm going to be doing personal coaching, one-on-one, and I think probably about the middle of July I have to work out doing maybe a Zoom coaching session, but we'll talk about that a little more. I still have to get my ducks in a row for that. But I'm planning for July. So, having said that, and I hope you've gotten some good information tonight. Practice your self-reliance. Be fully present in the moment. Eliminate your distractions. Prioritize your values. And don't let anybody drain your energy. Keep a stiff upper lip and laugh. You have a great night. Thank you. Bye-bye.